Coming up in the next hour of Eyewitness News this morning, you might notice some changes coming to downtown Orlando. The new requirements for bar owners before they open their doors Monday. Plus, we are following breaking news this morning in Orlando. This is a look at a scene that just cleared on Formosa Avenue. At the top of the hour, we'll let you know what officers know so far about the person they say was shot here.
And it's a weather alert day tonight, overnight into tomorrow, bringing us multiple rounds of the potential of severe weather. I'll be taking you through the hazards we could see later today and the timing all coming up.
This is Channel 9 Eyewitness News this morning. Coverage you can count on.
We are following breaking news in Orlando from overnight. This is a look at the scene earlier on Formosa Avenue, what we're learning from police about a shooting there. Plus, millions of people in Florida could be without health insurance starting next week.
It's going to suck because I can't afford regular health insurance.
Those most at risk of losing Medicaid. And it could be the last weekend that some downtown bars serve alcohol after midnight. The permit now required by business owners there. Good morning. It is Saturday, April 29th. I'm Carla Ray, and your time right now is 7 o'clock. Thanks for joining us here this morning. The sun is shining. It is coming up across Central Florida. You see it reflected off our skyline here in downtown Orlando. And things are calm and quiet right now, but that will change over the next 12 hours. It is a weather alert day, so let's get right to certified meteorologist Cassandra Crimmy.
Yeah, the but that will change is really key because the first half of today will be generally quiet, but later this afternoon, tonight, will be round one of our severe weather potential. Then there's a second round overnight and into early Sunday. So you'll see on my 7-day forecast that I have weather alert days issued for today and tomorrow, but it won't be the entire day. That's how it's going to be broken down this evening, overnight, and early tomorrow morning. You can see some scattered showers and storms, a lot of lightning over the Gulf of Mexico. This is all going to be headed in our direction. You can see most of the southeast has the potential for at least some severe weather, but it's essentially highlighted right over the Florida Peninsula and for all of Central Florida. On a scale of 1 to 4 for our severe threat, we sit at a 2 today, which for us is relatively high. We rarely get into those 3 and 4 categories here in Central Florida, but we're quiet now. Just like Carla mentioned, there's no showers outside. We're going to keep things dry really through lunchtime. Beyond lunchtime into the afternoon, scattered showers will start to develop. By this evening, I think we'll get some of those thunderstorms becoming a little bit more supercharged, especially near our beaches. Then we'll have to be dealing with round 2. I've updated the models. I'm going to take you hour by hour through those, and I've got it coming up in just about 15 minutes. Carla?
All right, we're going to get back out to that breaking news we've been telling you about this morning. Orlando police say one person was shot along Formosa Avenue early this morning. It happened around 1 a.m. Channel 9 Chantel Navarro is live at OPD headquarters working to get more information about a suspect in this case. Chantel, what have you learned?
Yeah, we're still working to get more details at this time. I just reached out to police again just about 15 minutes ago. Still have nothing to share at this time, but police did stay on scene by Formosa Avenue for about 5 hours this morning. Take a look at this video. This is from the scene earlier this morning. Police tell us that one person was shot in a car in that neighborhood, and they did transport that person to the hospital, so that person is expected to be okay. As for the car itself, we saw a dark-colored Cadillac there that was towed away from the scene right when they were taking off that crime scene tape there. We're still working to get more information on whether or not there was anybody else in that car with the victim and what exactly happened that kind of led up to this entire situation. We're also working to learn more on the condition of the victim at this time, even though we know they're expected to be okay as well. So we're going to work to get those details for you guys this morning. We're going to let you guys know as soon as we get them. Live in Orlando, Chantel Navarro, Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
Well, this could be the last weekend that some nighttime bars in downtown Orlando serve alcohol after midnight. A new ordinance will go into place on Monday requiring bars to have a permit in order to do that. The ordinance was approved more than a month ago, and so far the city says 61 bars have applied. As of yesterday, 28 permits have been issued. The city said that they're working through the weekend to process those applications by the deadline. Some bar owners we spoke to off camera say the process of getting a permit is a lot more difficult than they expected.
Businesses need to submit things like their business tax receipt that's showing their location, up-to-date occupancy numbers for their establishment, their liquor license. All of the requirements are listed within the permit itself. We've been distributing a variety of material through email.
The ordinance will also require certain bars to have law enforcement outside the building. And between the hours of 10 p.m. and 2 a.m., all bars will have to use ID scanners and keep a log of occupancy numbers. The city says it's all in an effort to make downtown safer. A new lawsuit is pitting the owner of the land where a strip club sits against Orange County and its tax collector. It comes after the owner of Flash Dancers was arrested for human trafficking. Because of the criminal charges, the county ordinance allowed the tax collector to revoke the business license. Channel 9 anchor Darlene Jones reports that issue now is whether the property owner should be allowed to use the land as a strip club again. This morning, we are learning about a prostitution sting in Melbourne, resulting in 3 arrests. The Melbourne Police Department arrested these 3 men on your screen. Officers conducted the operation while undercover. This happened along the US 1 corridor yesterday. All 3 of those men were arrested for solicitation. A Volusia County man is preparing to spend the next 3 decades in prison for the death of his girlfriend. Nelson Rivera pleaded no contest yesterday to second-degree murder. Investigators say that Rivera strangled his girlfriend inside their home in Ormond Beach in September of 2021 before he stabbed her to death. Rivera was sentenced to 30 years in Florida State Prison. Right now, Americans across the country are trying to figure out how they'll be able to afford health insurance. Starting Monday, millions of people could lose their Medicaid access. There's a nationwide review happening right now of Medicaid users. It comes after income requirements were relaxed during COVID, and that's now been reversed. The state is removing people whose incomes are now too high for the program. And one local mother told us that there are really no options for her if she doesn't make the cut.
It's going to suck because I can't afford regular health insurance. We can't afford our own prescriptions because they're arms and legs.
Experts say the group most at risk of losing coverage are adults who started receiving coverage during the pandemic and teens who have now turned 20. Happening today, thousands of bikers are headed to Leesburg for this year's Bike Fest. It is the first time that a normal spring event has been held since before the pandemic. 3 days of events started last night. Now, there were some slight hiccups for street vendors who saw their tents tossed around by a storm during setup Thursday night. Still, business owners tell us they are excited for the promising economic boost that they get from this event.
We've literally been planning for 6 weeks, and we've been cooking food this whole last week and all night shifts after we close to be able to prepare.
And the streets are expected to be busy until 2 in the morning, even through Sunday night. That is if the weather holds up this weekend. We know tonight, overnight, not going to be great for those folks there in Leesburg and really across Central Florida, Cassie.
Right, yeah, we're going to have the weather alert that's in place, and you'll see it on the 7-day for today and tomorrow, but a little bit more fine-tuned. It's actually for tonight, overnight, and into tomorrow morning. We're actually going to be seeing rounds of severe weather. You can see for today, a big portion of the southeast has the potential of getting at least some severe weather, but it's actually heightened for most of Central Florida. You can see we're under the shaded area in orange, which puts us on a scale of 1 to 4 at a 2, which is really, I don't want to say as high as it gets, but we rarely get into that level 3 and 4 here in Central Florida. Now, it's quiet outside early this morning, but as we head into the afternoon and evening, we're going to get scattered showers and storms starting to develop, especially around dinner time near our beaches. Look at that rain and storm chance in Daytona Beach. I think we're going to see the East Coast sea breeze supercharge some of these storms as they move west to east across the state through the late afternoon and evening hours, and that's where we could see some heavy pockets of hail again, also large hail. A thunderstorm wind gusts and even isolated spin-ups will be possible as we head through the second half of today. But this is just round 1 of those thunderstorms. After this evening, we'll have a bit of a lull, but overnight and early tomorrow morning, round 2 arrives, and that'll bring us the second possibility of severe thunderstorms. I'll take you through that possibility coming up right after the break. Carla?
Right now, lawmakers are addressing a shortage of doctors. Coming up, how they say your family could be impacted if something doesn't happen soon. And ahead, how investigators say they caught an Osceola County man coordinating shipments of cocaine into Central Florida. And next, calls for improved rail safety are growing louder across the country.
Clearly, we have a problem in the rail industry because we've got 1,000 train derailments every single year.
9 Investigates is digging into what's being done to improve safety at the national level and what could be getting in the way.
Drone 9, only on Channel 9 Eyewitness News, getting you closer over the scene of breaking news.
Drone 9, sponsored by StrataAC.com. You ought to call Strata.
I always say that when Channel 9 is involved in breaking news, it's like the cavalry is coming.
And that's why we go into 24/7 mode. The safety of our community comes first. You know, we've got different ways to keep you informed.
But we're trying to gather the most information that we can and bring our viewers something they're not going to get on any other station.
Bringing you what's unfolding live.
So we're right there with you the whole time.
With Channel 9 breaking news, no one covers it better than we do.
Watch Eyewitness News from any device with Eyewitness News Livestream, sponsored by Bogan Munz & Munz. Choose trust. Choose Bogan Munz & Munz.
Good Saturday morning, and thanks for joining us. I'm meteorologist Cassandra Crimmy, and our time right now about 7:14. We have a weather alert day issued for today and for tomorrow, but a little bit more specifically tonight, overnight, and into early Sunday morning. Multiple rounds of showers and storms headed our direction, bringing us some severe weather potential. So today, how that plays out, late afternoon and evening is where we'll have the potential for severe weather. We'll have somewhat of a lull, and then late tonight and early tomorrow morning, a front moves through, bringing us a second round of the potential for strong and even severe thunderstorms. Then we get some much calmer conditions. It'll be breezy but sunny, and we won't be rocking with the thunderstorms come Monday and for most of this upcoming week. So early this morning, cloudy skies, winds are calm, temperatures in the 70s. Most of us are in the low 70s this morning, and we've got a few hours for things to remain pretty quiet. So if you have any outdoor things you need to get done, really the first half of the day is going to be your best bet. We'll see temperatures climb into the upper 80s today, getting to about 89 degrees, but you can already see all this energy in the Gulf that's going to be headed our direction. We'll have this west to east movement of scattered showers and storms headed our way by this afternoon, and then the East Coast sea breeze kind of gives it that supercharged event by our evening hours. So when we talk about the severe potential on a scale of 1 to 4, today we're sitting at a 2, which for Florida standards is on the higher side. Rarely do we start to get into that 3 and 4. So when we start to see these levels of severe potential, that's why we issue the weather alert day. Now, it looks as though we'll get some of those stronger storms delivering strong wind gusts, could be damaging wind gusts, even damaging hail, even an isolated tornado or multiple isolated tornadoes tonight and early tomorrow morning. So dangerous late afternoon and evening storms, and some of the more dangerous storms I think will happen at our beaches or more widespread. So as we go through the hours, hour by hour today, Severe Weather Center 9 future track through noon, really not a whole lot to write home about. But take a look. Late afternoon, early evening, scattered showers and storms start to develop, again moving west to east. But look what happens as we get closer towards 6:30. This line of magenta, this is where those thunderstorms are interacting with the sea breeze. Now you can see up to the north, this is off the coastline, which would be great. But overland down in parts of Brevard County could lead to, again, the pockets of hail and damaging winds. Scattered showers and storms continue into our evening hours, but we get somewhat of a break. And if we can get some of that destabilization again in the atmosphere, this round of showers and storms early tomorrow morning could bring with it more severe weather. So Cocoa Beach, hour by hour, first half looking good. Second half, very stormy. That's the case as well in Orlando as we take you through the day today. Coming up in just about 10 minutes, I've fine-tuned this timeline for you. We'll take you through those numbers. But as we take you through the weekend, again, alert for tonight, overnight tonight, and into tomorrow with much calmer conditions for most of next week. Carla.
This week, 9 Investigates showed you the concerns that residents and first responders have with the trains and rail lines that run up and down our coast. But safety isn't just a local issue. Our Washington, D.C. correspondent Blair Miller went directly to federal safety investigators, Congress, and the train industry to see what is and what's not being done to keep our communities safe. Well, don't throw away those Bed Bath & Beyond coupons just yet. Coming up, the popular stores that will be accepting them after the chain filed for bankruptcy. And Channel 9 found out that there have been more than a dozen bird strikes at OIA this month alone. Next, the potential solutions being considered now to keep you safe.
Severe weather updates on WFTV are driven by Toyota of Orlando and Toyota of Claremont.
The Federal Aviation Administration is looking to get a bird's eye view of wildlife at airports. Data shows incidents of bird strikes have doubled since the year 2000. Channel 9 anchor Alexa Lorenzo took a closer look at incidents reported at Orlando International Airport as the agency continues to research solutions. A version of Arizona's so-called stupid motorist law could be coming to Volusia County. It would force people to pay fines if they get stranded while driving through floodwater during a storm. It's on the agenda for Tuesday's Volusia County Council meeting. Now, the law allows governments to charge up to $2,000 toward drivers for this type of emergency response. The New Smyrna Beach interim police chief believes that this could be beneficial, but some people living in the county are not on board.
That's absurd. Be fined for what? Because I'm stuck? I need help? That's crazy. That's really crazy. They need to stop. They need to really stop that.
State law limits local government's role in traffic regulation, but the county council could adopt an ordinance like this to be used during emergencies. If you have Medicaid, you'll want to listen to this. Millions of Floridians could lose their coverage in just a few days. Coming up next, what you should do if you don't know where your eligibility stands.
And it's a weather alert day tonight and early tomorrow morning. I'm watching multiple rounds of showers and storms that could bring dangerous weather to Central Florida. I'll take you through all the details coming up.
I know, here are some ideas on how you can spend the early part of your day before that severe weather rolls in. For a complete list, just go to icflorida.com.
This is Channel 9 Eyewitness News this morning. Coverage you can count on.
We are following breaking news in Orlando this morning. Police were at this scene early today on Formosa Avenue, and at this time we're working to find what led up to a shooting there. Good morning. It is Saturday, April 29th. I'm Carla Ray, and your time right now is 7:30. Thanks for joining us. A live look over in Cocoa Beach. The sun is shining. It looks like a beautiful start to our day, but things will be changing. It is a weather alert weekend. Let's get over to certified meteorologist Cassandra Crimmy in Severe Weather Center 9.
Yeah, so to specifically kind of place where I think we're going to see the worst weather, really tonight, then a second round overnight and into early tomorrow. So you'll see it on my 7-day that we have a weather alert issued for Saturday and Sunday. But that's really how it times out for us today. So here's a look at what's going on. Most of the southeast has the potential of some sort of severe weather. But as we get a little bit closer, all of Central Florida kind of highlighted under this area of orange, which is putting us on the scale of 1 to 4 at a 2 for that likelihood of scattered severe thunderstorms later this afternoon and evening. Now, it's dry outside now. It's quite calm. Temperatures are in the low 70s. First half of the day is actually going to be pretty quiet. But as we get into the afternoon, we'll start to see some scattered showers and storms develop, move west to east. Right around 5 to 8 o'clock, we'll get the interaction of these storms with that east coast sea breeze near our beaches, and that's going to essentially supercharge some of these storms. So I think we'll have dangerous storms at our beaches during that window, heavy rain, the possibility of damaging hail, and even some damaging wind gusts will be possible as we head through the overnight and into early tomorrow. Consider that round 2 of what we are tracking. We'll have a front slide through. That's going to sweep the possibility of scattered showers and strong storms across the area. We could even have nocturnal severe thunderstorm warnings, even nocturnal tornado warnings. So make sure you have a way to get those weather alerts when you go to bed tonight. We'll be tracking it all for you here. But coming up, I'm updating the models, and I'll take you hour by hour through that possibility. Carla.
All right, we continue to follow breaking news this morning. Orlando police say one person was shot in a car on Formosa Avenue. This happened around 1 o'clock early this morning. And they say that person was taken to the hospital. They are expected to survive. Channel 9 Chantel Navarro is live for us at OPD headquarters working to get an update. And Chantel, they still haven't given you any information on a suspect in this case.
No, I've been checking in all morning, and we're still trying to get that suspect information, but we haven't heard anything at this time.
The Orange Osceola County State Attorney believes the governor may move to suspend her on Monday. State Attorney Monique Worrell says the Republican committee woman reached out to her office requesting information on at least 2 human trafficking cases. That committee woman says the office failed to prosecute those cases to get justice for victims. The state attorney's office believes that the information was wanted in preparation for a news conference with the governor, where they believe he plans to suspend her. We'll let you know what happens. Meantime, the board overseeing Disney's special district is set to hold a special meeting to talk about Disney's new lawsuit on Monday. The company is suing Governor Ron DeSantis, claiming he weaponized his political power to punish Disney after it spoke against the parental rights and education law, which is commonly known as Don't Say Gay. We'll be at Monday's meeting, and we'll let you know what plays out. Florida lawmakers are set to vote on a major elections bill that would put more restrictions on voter registration groups. The bill has reignited a bipartisan debate since the 2020 election about revamping Florida's election laws. State Republicans argue the state needs to continue doing this to prevent any wrongdoing, but Democrats say the changes are designed to suppress minority voters.
We want to be crystal clear. It should be easy to vote and hard to cheat.
It's going to make it difficult for Floridians to actually have the democracy that America is built on.
Part of the bill would also change the state's Resign to Run law. That would allow Governor Ron DeSantis to run for president while remaining governor of Florida, should he choose to run. Well, doctors are in high demand nationwide. Some projections show a shortage of up to 124,000 physicians over the next decade. And Congress plans to battle this with the National Health Service Corps. The program helps doctors with scholarships and loan repayment. And then in exchange, they practice in underserved communities. The budget includes a request for more than $960 million to continue this program. But some GOP leaders also want to cut federal spending.
And some states, in fact, do have, like the state of Maryland, has a separate loan repayment program from the federal government.
Our budget prioritizes training more medical residents and incentivizing practice in rural and underserved communities.
Federal officials say if health programs lose funding, they estimate 2 million patients could lose access to care in rural communities. Well, for the first time since the peak of the virus formerly known as the monkeypox, there were no new cases this week. The World Health Organization declared Mpox a public health emergency of international concern. The CDC reported more than 30,000 cases in the U.S. between last May and this April. Those last 2 cases were reported on the 18th. In Osceola County, federal agents say they caught a cocaine distributor here in Central Florida, and now that suspect is facing federal charges. Investigators intercepted a package from Puerto Rico addressed to 29-year-old Christian Arroyo Rivera. A U.S. postal inspector delivered the package to a mail drop box and left him a key, and then agents watched as he picked it up.
We're looking to prevent any damage being done or harm to society with these dangerous drugs. So we get as many as we can, as often as we can off the street.
Arroyo Rivera told investigators he was getting paid between $600 and $800 to receive the package and that he knew it would contain cocaine. Well, all across the country, fentanyl is now the deadliest drug. Now members of Congress are pushing for a new law that would go after the cartels and their money. According to the CDC, an estimated 71,000 people died from overdosing on synthetic opioids in 2021. A new bill introduced this week would target the drug's chemical suppliers in China and Mexico. And the Treasury Department would be able to block assets of the cartels. It would also go after individuals who make money off of it. If you or someone you know has been thinking about getting a timeshare, you'll want to hear about this latest report. Coming up, the new scams consumer experts say you need to watch out for.
And it's a weather alert day tonight. Overnight and into tomorrow morning, we'll have 2 rounds of weather that could bring severe thunderstorms to Central Florida. I'll take you through the concerns we have with this coming up.
We live in a very what's happening now mentality and world, and there are stories that we start hearing about and we see tidbits online, but we're experiencing things in real time just with our viewers, right?
You're on the computer researching stuff, making calls during commercial breaks.
We have the expertise to say, wait a second, this is what's happening, and properly vetting that information before we bring it to you so you can get out the door on time.
We're just so locked into the community. That's what makes the difference.
Your time right now is 7:40. A live look over at Daytona Beach. The sun's been up for about an hour there. We've got some folks out for their morning walk. It's a nice start to our day, but we know things are going to change. Let's get a check of our forecast from certified meteorologist Cassandra Grimmie, tracking today's weather alert day.
That's right. And we still have a few hours before things really start to get dicey for us. All the way through about lunchtime, we should be pretty quiet. But tonight, really late afternoon and into the evening hours, we'll have the possibility of severe weather. Then another round overnight and into early Sunday morning. So kind of a 2-day hit, but it's only over an 18-hour window through Saturday evening and into Sunday morning. So as today looks, most of the southeast has the potential of seeing some severe weather, kind of highlighted though for the Florida Peninsula, which means all of us here in Central Florida on a scale of 1 to 4 sit at about a 2. Scattered severe thunderstorms will be possible as we head through the second half of the day, but it is dry outside now. We have some of the clouds streaming in overhead. Temperatures are in the 70s. We're going to heat up though during that dry time, which again will help give the severe potential a boost. We'll get to all the way to 89 degrees. And look at our rain and storm possibilities. Here we are at 1 o'clock, limited scattered showers possible, but as we head towards the second half of the day, that's where we're going to focus on seeing the potential for dangerous hail, damaging hail, also damaging winds and even isolated tornadoes, which I'll talk a bit more about coming up in just about 10 minutes. Carla?
If you are thinking about investing in a timeshare for your next vacation, you'll need to be on the lookout for possible scams. Timeshares allow you to become part owner in vacation homes or property, but a new study from the Better Business Bureau reveals that in the last 3 years, they they received more than 20,000 complaints about timeshares. That includes difficulty of getting out of the agreement and aggressive sales tactics.
There are reputable companies that do this, but unfortunately the bad actors take center stage.
The Trade Association for the Industry commended the BBB for guidance to consumers. The group launched a program to help owners get out of their timeshares. It also educates owners about available resources and works on regulations that provide transparency and consumer protections. Rideshare drivers in Central Florida gave their employers something to think about. Coming up, what they're demanding now, the drivers in several other states already have. Here's today's local steals and deals. Rideshare drivers across the state are demanding higher pay, better working conditions, and a union. They rallied near Orlando International Airport yesterday, and the rally was their push to launch the Florida chapter of the Independent Drivers Guild. This is a union for rideshare drivers already established in several other states around the country. Currently, rideshare drivers here in Florida have no voice with the apps.
They give us like $132 just to go to Miami. That's a 3.5-hour drive, and that's ridiculous. Yeah, and they charge the passengers about maybe $300 or $400.
The drivers want a living wage now that gas prices and other expenses are up. They say that the pay really has not kept up, and they're struggling to make ends meet. In Lake County, officials plan to host a special passport event to help curb a national backup. The U.S. State Department is seeing an unprecedented demand for passports, and it's causing massive delays. The county clerk and comptroller will be helping you apply or renew your passport. The event is next Saturday from 9 in the morning until 3 at South Lake's branch office there in Claremont. You can register for the event in the web links section of WFTV.com. Well, to speed up in your Mercedes-Benz electric vehicle, it's going to cost you. Mercedes EV owners can pay for a subscription to increase their horsepower. In the U.S., you can pay $60 a month for an additional 60 horsepower. It'll run you $90 a month to increase by 80 horsepower. BMW and Tesla also have downloadable options for their customers. Interesting. Well, you may want to hang on to those Bed Bath & Beyond coupons, even though the retailer has stopped honoring them as they close down stores amid bankruptcy. Now, 2 of their competitors say they'll take them. The Container Store says it'll accept the coupons through May for a 20% discount off of any single item. Big Lots will also honor the coupons through May 7th for 20% off purchases of $50 or more. Gonna get me some appliances.
There you go.
All right, so
yes.
Later this afternoon, evening, it's going to get a little dicey.
Yes, weather alert day issued, and we do this when things are a little out of the ordinary. You know, we get thunderstorm activity all the time, but these are going to be a little supercharged. Right. The severe threat is going to be higher for us tonight, overnight, and into tomorrow morning. So kind of a double hitter or 2 rounds. Today's best chance for severe weather will be late afternoon into the evening hours, where we actually see the East Coast sea breeze kind of interact with the storms that will move west to east across the state. Then late tonight, early tomorrow morning, that's round number 2, a front moves through, and that could bring with it the potential for strong storms. There's kind of a caveat with that. The first round of storms could kind of strip away all the intensity in the atmosphere. So depending on how the atmosphere rebounds through the overnight really will play a key role in how those storms for round 2 play out. So 70 degrees outside now, calm. Most of us are in the low 70s. The next couple of hours, this is that window where you've got some pretty decent weather. We've got the clouds, though, moving in, especially for our northern zones where it's quite thick. But off to our west in the Gulf, there's a whole lot of energy happening over the Gulf of Mexico. Look at all these lightning strikes. So many that it's showing up as white on our screen. We will see this system continue to slide towards the north and east, and that's what's going to pull a front through the area overnight tonight and into tomorrow. So with all that being said, most of the southeast has the potential today for some severe weather, but central Florida as a whole kind of highlighted. We're sitting at a 2 on a scale of 1 to 4 for our severe potential, which means scattered severe thunderstorms possible tonight and again overnight and into tomorrow. So what we're really going to be watching for, the damaging hail, the damaging winds, something we've already seen this week. Isolated tornadoes, also something we've seen. And then also coming with that, the threat of heavy rainfall, which doesn't necessarily make a storm severe, but we could have some localized flooding with some of these storms. So we'll be watching the beaches very closely, as I think that's where I think we'll have some of the stormiest weather today. So let's go through it hour by hour. Scattered afternoon showers really don't start until after lunchtime. You can see here we go through the 3, 4, and 5 o'clock window, but I've stopped it at 6. See this magenta color? This is that interaction with the East Coast sea breeze we were talking about. Now you can see the storm's already offshore at today at 6 o'clock up near Flagler and Volusia County, but still overhead in Brevard County. So again, we'll be really focusing on the beaches during that time frame. Still some scattered showers and storms behind that, but we will actually get somewhat of a lull into our late night hours. But here's the second wave that we are going to be tracking overnight and early into Sunday morning. And again, if the atmosphere gets a little bit more of that stability returned or instability returned, we could get again that round of severe thunderstorms. So Cocoa Beach, 5 to 8 o'clock. Really highlighting the potential for severe weather for you. Scattered afternoon and evening thunderstorms possible in Orlando. Could get some isolated severe thunderstorms as well during that time frame, but we're really going to be watching the beaches through that 5 to 8 o'clock window, and then that overnight potential for round number 2. We could have some nocturnal, not only severe thunderstorm warnings, but tornado warnings. So make sure that you have some form of getting those weather alerts. You can download our WFTV app. It's a good source to always have when you're sleeping. You want something to wake you up in case you do have dangerous weather nearby. But as we take you through that 7-day forecast of the weekend always in view into next week, we are calming things down quite a bit. It has been one of those weeks where we've had multiple days with some dangerous storms, and most of next week will be quiet with temperatures in the mid to upper 80s. Carla.
All right, and a live look outside over downtown Orlando. The calm before the storm. We use a cliche. You'll want to get out and about throughout the daytime hours and wrap things up by the afternoon following Cassie's forecast. And we'd love to know what you're up to today. You can chat with us throughout the show using the handles on your screen. Plus, here's a look at what's happening around Central Florida in the weeks ahead. For a complete list, just go to icflorida.com. This week, foodies came together to raise money and support families who rely on the Ronald McDonald House while their children receive medical treatment. I had the honor of co-emceeing Appetite for the Arches, representing 9 Family Connection alongside JoJo from our radio partner Star 94.5. This unique event challenges local chefs to create dishes using McDonald's ingredients. And we helped raise more than $200,000 to support the 3 local Ronald McDonald houses here in Central Florida, which provide a home away from home for those families as their children receive medical treatments. Coming up in the next hour of Eyewitness News this morning, you might notice some changes coming to downtown Orlando. The new requirements for bar owners before they open their doors on Monday.
Plus, I just got new details on the shooting of Formosa Drive that happened early this morning. What police are telling me coming up.
And it's a weather alert day today, really tonight, and then another round overnight into our Sunday. I'll take you through the timing of this, plus the concerns with the hazards that we may see with these storms, all coming up.